Hello, hello. Welcome to our monthly planning session. Who is ready to plan your epic story with me? We are doing January edition. Can you believe that, guys? We're heading into another new year. How's everyone doing? For anyone who hasn't already done so, grab the planning template from the description area of this live. And you can either do that as a printout or you can do it as a digital and use it in like GoodNotes or something. Whatever you prefer. Hello, Lori. Hello, Rita. How's everyone doing? Thank you guys for coming back and joining me for part 2 of today. Okay, guys. We are going to dive on in. Do you have your template? Let me know first. And then we will get started. I hope that December was good for you guys. I hope that you had lots of celebrating, lots of moments to be joyful and proud of, made lots of amazing memories with family and friends, and just, had a good end of the year, right? I know we have a few more days. We can still add some to it, right? Let's see here. We went to some very pretty, let's see if I can find a good one here. We did a drive-through of Christmas lights in our area, and it was quite lovely. I actually quite enjoyed it. Let's see here. I don't know if this will do it justice. We got to drive through. Oops. Enjoy the lights. It was very nice. It was a bit short, shorter than I thought it was going to be, but it was nice. It wasn't the largest park, but it was one of our bigger ones, so we did enjoy that. That's probably not going to show all that well. I tried to catch a few photos just for memories, and later on I can see them and smile and enjoy. Okay, guys, we are going to get started. Let's dive on in. I have my template ready on my iPad mini, which is my best little friend in tech. I love that. Between my phone and that, 90% of this stuff happens on this. So the laptop, the computer, that's all. I'll get there. Okay, guys, so let's dive in. So what is the Epic Story System? It is a monthly planning system. It focuses on what you want to achieve in a month, has you reflect on where you are starting from and the destination you have in mind, steps you through breaking these goals down, defines active steps you will take, and creates a week-by-week strategic plan for the month ahead. I'm here, but just chilling. I love it. Thank you, Elaine. Hey, Elizabeth. So the template we're going to use is a 4-page template because we are planning 4 or 5 weeks, so it does take a little more room. But each thing has its own little space. Elizabeth, I took a nap after that first 45-minute sprint earlier. Hey, if you need it, you need it, right? Okay, guys, so we have a page 1, which is our ordinary world. And then pages 2 through 4 are all about the special world in creating that plan for the things that really matter to us. So let's start with the ordinary world. This will take about 10 minutes, give or take, and this is defining our distractions and obligations. So our ingredients are picture this, major conflicts. I've added a new one, avoided. Why? Why did we avoid something all month? What is holding us back on that, right? Important dates, important tasks. I also added a small area in there for our to be read pile, so we can pull a couple titles out of what we know we want to read this month, so we can get ourselves organized as well in our current reads. And at a glance, for preparation, we want to be honest. You want to check in with your values, make sure what you're choosing is actually going to move you forward and matters to you in the long term. You're going to prioritize and you're going to reflect. So we're going to start with page 1 of our template. Picture this will take us about 2 minutes. It is the dream. It's a brief vision of the future you want to create for yourself and those you love. It's where you want to see yourself. It can be anywhere from by the end of this quarter or 6 months, a year, 5 years, however big you want to go. right? Let's see, Elizabeth. Now that the semester is over, boredom can now kick in, so I want to have some fun during this break. Yes, yes. And including the fun, right? That also goes into picture this, right? So, picture this. The protagonist, you, stands in a place of discontent, longing for something. Close your eyes. What world do you see? What are you doing? Who is beside you? What do you feel? What do you value? What matters to you? All right, let's take a quick 2-minute timer here, and we are going to just do a small little journaling. There's that little section there. Oops. There we go. Get that down there. At the upper left-hand side, which says picture this, and we're just going to journal for a quick, brief moment and just put down and name some of those things that we want to see in our future. And go. Yeah. Okay, I hope you were able to name some of the things that you want to see. I glanced to, went with a year ahead and just picturing where I want to be by the end of 2025 and a little step into 2026. Let's see. What did you guys come up with? It speaks to my values. It speaks to the ways that I want to show up for you guys, for myself, what I want to do in terms of helping others. And yes, if I can make that a reality, that will be a perfect end to 2025. Okay, guys, we are going to move on into our next one. Major conflicts. This is a break in routines. We're just going to think about here for a moment what is coming up in January that might be derailing us, or maybe in February even, because if there's something that is going to come along that is going to affect deadlines, maybe you're going on vacation February 1st. Technically, it's not in January. But there's certain things that need to be done for, say, February 7th that you're not going to have that week to work on it, which means you're going to have to do that in January and have it set up and done. So these are usually planned events. They're more than a few days. They are routine wrecking. They will make it so you're going to spend a few days at least getting back on track. And your goal is to protect your deadlines. Lori, I wrote that I want to finish draft one of my new series by the end of Q1. I want to see joy each day. I want to see myself losing weight. I love those. Those are beautiful. Rita, I have difficulties looking into the distant future, so I did 6 months. I like 6 months for myself often because I feel like I can control that, and I have a feeling you're probably similar on that. Okay, guys, so let's just take a quick 2 minutes and figure out what strategies can be implemented to reduce the chaos and protect your objectives that are basically in January or just afterwards, so you're making sure that you're not going to end up having to burn yourself out trying to stay on task and get caught up. We just want to basically make sure that we see what's coming and be able to control it and start ticking off some of the check boxes there on it so it doesn't become a problem. All right, let's get our 2-minute timer up and go. Okay. For me, it is January is, they're not new things, but scheduling changes because my eldest daughter, all her Special Olympics stuff comes back, and we're looking at 4 days a week of getting her to different various things. Most of them are close to home, but there's still that interruption that can happen. So, and 2 more weeks in January, we'll be heading further out to do her bowling. So that gets back into play. And then January 6th, the youngest is back to university classes, and she's going to do, we're trying to make sure but everything's online this time around, just to give a little freedom to hubby and I. So if we want to take a wee trip, we don't have to worry about them so much, and the two of us can have a little trip somewhere. And the girls will be have less places they have to go to physically. Right. So that is the goal for that. So we'll see what happens. It may be more of a February thing. Depends on what our weather plays out to. So far it's been pretty good. I feel like I should knock on some wood. It's been very good, actually. So hopefully I don't have any problems in that category. Let's see, Laura, I don't believe I have any conflicts in January other than taking some time to look for a part-time job. I do have to transport my daughter 4 days a week from work or program. Okay, yeah, you've got your plans. Nothing for major conflict for me. Are the kids coming back post Christmas break, or is it generally the same schedule now. It's kind of become normal. It's kind of an ongoing, right? Let's see. So the new one, avoided. Why? Sinuses. Sorry, guys. Oh, sorry. That one snuck up. So what is stopping you? Are you missing information or a skill? Is it fear of something? Are you fear of a success, fear of failure, fear of the unknown? Are you unable to see into the future? Like, are you unable to see what the next steps are? This could be a time for research and looking further into the things you want to do and what the natural next steps would be. What are you doing instead? Maybe you're using it as an excuse and diving into doing other things like doom scrolling or some other task that you believe is important, but it's not moving your goals forward because you're not working on them. So you're using that time elsewhere to do things that are not doing anything for you. And the goal here is to regain control. We want to figure out what is stopping us so that we can move back forward into the things that we want to be doing. So let's see. Elizabeth, the spring semester begins on January 21st. Oh, you get a little longer break. Interesting. Read it. Oh, yes. The kids will be back after a 2-week break, and I have one full day with them. That works. Okay. Jackie, so many birthdays in January. Ooh, get those written down. It's important to make sure you know what's coming so you can be organized for them, right? So, avoiding. Okay, what misbeliefs are at play here? Sometimes that's part of it. What have you allowed yourself to believe that you need? Maybe you don't actually need all the information that you are trying to take in to be able to start. You're just holding yourself back with this idea that you need to have more, right? Is it fear talking? Are you so afraid of success that you do not believe that you deserve it, that you're holding yourself back? Is it the unknown? Like I said, is it something that you just literally don't know what the next step is? Maybe you've never been this far before, so you don't actually know where to go next, right? What have you been doing instead? What steps can you take to move forward with this goal? Think small, tiny first steps, small progress. Let's see. Elizabeth, I have one on-campus class and one online class next semester. That works. Okay, guys, so let's just take 2 minutes and figure out what it is that you've been kind of dancing around. That's an important thing that you want to be getting onto, and go. So what did you guys come up with? For me, I got some words, but not as many as I wanted. I did a lot of false starts as well, which was very frustrating, but I wasn't connecting with the story. And so I found myself over and over again, just in this analysis paralysis state, because I wasn't connecting the story. So I was second guessing everything that I was coming up with. And none of it seemed to matter because I had no connection to the characters. I had no connection to the story. I had no connection to any of it. So none of it felt right. And I realized that that is because I need to create that connection, that bond to that character for me to care about them enough to spend time with them, writing them. So I think I've actually done that. She's similar to the other character that I had, but there's certain things I like about her that I want to explore and I want to know more about. And there's that bond that is starting to be created, and I'm getting to know her. And I actually care about her story, and I want to see her happy, and I want to see her change. Where before, she was literally just going through the motions of the plot as I was handing them to her. And none of it felt like it had any soul to it. It didn't have any heart. So I'm hoping this will work. Lori, I'm starting a new series, and starting a new project always scares me. It seems daunting to me, and when I feel that, I want to do something different or ignore it. It's exciting starting a new project, but I still have that age-old fear of failure. Oh, sweet, sweet. So true, right? And that's so honest. So thank you for being that honest with us, hon. I think a lot of us feel that the new story, it takes a little bit of time for it to start breathing on the page and be something that we can trust in, right? So I love that. Thank you. Elizabeth, in 2024, I saw just how much internalized ableism I had and have worked on healing mentally and emotionally. Oh, interesting. I will look for a summer internship, and I am a bit nervous about the possibility of rejection. You show up as you. Show up as your honest self. You are an amazing young woman. You can do this, hon. You've got this. And there may be some rejection in it because you will not be the only candidate. So go into it knowing that, but also present yourself in the best light and give yourself the best shot, right? Be prepared. Be prepared. People love someone who is prepared, right? So be prepared, and it will set you apart from the people who are showing up without being, right? Rita, major one avoidance is actually getting a proof copy of my first book that's ready for the wild, fear of the unknown and emotional, and declutter the house, mainly my writing room. Oh, that is an awesome, yes, but you've got this, son. You've got this. Sit down, make a date with yourself, make a book date with yourself, and get that book released to the first audience, you, right? And that way you can keep moving forward. And you know what? If it's a proof copy and you do something wrong, get another one. It's okay. This is where you get to make your mistakes and you're getting to learn. You're all good. Thanks. Good points. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Okay, let's dive into our next part. Important dates. This is your commitments. We're just going to take 2 minutes to go through. I always have Google Calendar up for this part just because it helps me to see if there's anything. I know there's not gobs in January to worry about, but there are things that I need to look at and make sure that I'm staying on top of. So these things are scheduled. They matter. I want you to reflect your values in making sure that these things do matter to you. Are you showing up for these because they are important to you, right? Does this need to happen, or can someone else do it, right? And the goal is nothing is missed. We're just trying to make a good overview of the important things that we want to make sure we do in January. I have one that is not on my calendar, and I'm going to have to, I think, check an email for that one because I think that's where it ended up and not in my calendar. So I'll have to fix that. Okay, guys, let's get our 2-minute timer up and go through our section that says important dates. There's a place for the description or the name, whatever works for you. The date, a start time and end time, and then any notes do you want to add to that. So where you will need to focus, maybe something you need to prepare in advance. Just write down everything you can think of that will actually serve you in terms of the birthdays. Maybe you want to, some people you want to buy a card. Maybe some people you want to go next level and buy a gift. Maybe some of them are just simply a phone call or an email is all that's needed, right? So how detailed do you need it to be, right? Okay, guys, 2 minutes and go. What time that was at? What did you guys come up with? I want to say that was at 10:30 for that, and I think it'll be about a half-hour call. I'm not entirely sure, though. I have to see what I got there for that one. And face it, she's often late, so I'll have to deal with that as well. Let's see. Jackie lost my mom raft. Oh no. Rough draft and back up 2 years ago. Oh no. I've been starting and stopping the rewrite. So hard to start over. Now thinking, do I still love this plot? I'm running a question behind. All birth dates entered. Beautiful. Now, part of it is, though, that draft could be associated with the loss of your mom. So that might be hard to move on from. Like, I had a project, same thing, when I lost my parents. It just, I never really went back to it. It's kind of done. Maybe someday, but it's still, I mean, it's been like 5 years and still kind of not something that, it's almost like a void in my brain at this point. So maybe someday, but I don't know. It's associated with their loss, and I don't know if I can ever get around that. So just a thought. Don't push yourself. And you're also a different person now, so that plot may also, you can see where that plot was lacking and maybe where it would need to be reworked. I would say don't be afraid to start fresh and just allow yourself to tinker and play with it and see where you can take it. And if it really still does not work, just do a new project. Do a new project, and it's okay. And someday maybe that one will come back out. But for now, it's just not going to, and that's perfectly legit. Lori, I have a card making class for 2 hours on January 12th. Oh, that sounds fun. I have a scrapbooking retreat on January 25th. That's even nicer. I always have my granddaughter's and my mother's birthdays on January 23rd, although they will be celebrating my granddaughter's birthday on the 24th, I think. Sweet. I love that. That is a very fun, beautiful month. We also have Sarah's birthday in there too, right? I have to wish her happy birthday, right? Okay, guys. Our next one, important tasks. This is your home life projects. This is your environment, your family, your personal. I've included the to be read as well into this one because that supports your learning and your joy. So I kind of wanted to place on there for that. That would be helpful for you to basically be able to think about. Maybe you don't currently have a book that fits something you're trying to learn, but it would be, maybe that's an area you want to research and choose a book for January that will support that learning. So if you don't have it right now, don't worry about it. Again, you can add that in there and just take the steps toward that. And the goal is to make progress. Sarah's is 23rd as well. I know, right? It's a good day. Okay, guys, let's dive in. 2 minutes and just think about the things that you want to do to make your overall space, your family, your peace, your joy, your community, your relationships better in January, and what you can do to make that happen. And go. I have to check if that's the right title, but I'm pretty sure I got that one right. Guess I could just open up my Kindle and see what the name of the book is. Let's see. What did you guys come up with? Let's see. Oops, come out of there. Oops. I should write the... Oh, The Big Leap. Not the leap year. My bad. And I think for writing, I want to finish reading. Where are you? Where are you? I have a terrible problem. I have too many books. It's a done and lost one. I know that, right? So I gotta get that read. Elizabeth, I have to clean my car and do some laundry. I let pile up during the semester. Get on that. Make that priority number 1, and that way you clean up your environment. Lori, I have to organize my office. Start updating my website. That's a whole quarter of work. buy a gift for Elise, send card to my mom, look for a part-time job. Well, some of that's fun, some of it not so much, but you got this. You got this. Jackie, I never thought of the association. Thank you for the clarity and suggestion. You're welcome, hon. Lori, oh, and I have 6 books I want to read this month. 6? Are you going to have the time to do 6? I would say put your top 3, and then the other ones are bonus. Rita, my number 1 task is cleaning and decluttering, reorganizing my writing room, including boxing up some of my rocks and knickknacks to rotate every quarter. Think holiday decor. I love that, actually. Yeah, I took some off my desk because it was getting a bit unruly. So I pulled some back and I used some of the decorative space on the bookcases instead and reclaimed my desk. That it was necessary. Okay, guys. Let's see here. At a glance, this is just your availability. These are your days off, your sick days, mental health days. How many do you want to give yourselves? Remember, we're in winter. That tends to mean a few extra that you don't necessarily want. So I'm going to bet that back to school is going to be the 6th. I can pretty much guarantee that I'm going to get sick probably about the 10th, maybe the 11th, because the kids all go back to school, and even if mine is not going back to school, they all come back together, they all go in the stores, they give it to their parents give it to me. So I'm just going to say those 2, I'm going to take the 10th and 11th, and already mark those off as not happening, because most likely I will be feeling lousy. Usually do. Back to school is not a happy time. I like my kids around. Let's see, Lori, I'd love to read all 6, but I'll be lucky if I finish 2 of them. Yeah, so just pick your first, second, and third, and there you go. And if you get to the 3rd one, that's bonus. If you get to the 4th one, that's like celebration and fireworks. And if you get to more, well, I don't know, buy a coffee to celebrate. Okay, guys, let's take 2 minutes, and we are going to just cross off those dates that are not going to be, that you will not be working, that you potentially will be sick days or your mental health days. Every once in a while, somewhere in the month, I like to give myself also like a catch-up day. So I'm not scheduling things in there, but I can get on top of things. So on the 13th will be about the midpoint of the month. I think I'm going to take that one and just take that off as well, because that can be like a catch-up day, and I can just use that to really get myself recentered mid-month. I think I like that idea. Let's see. And so we want to be realistic, and the goal is simply you do not have 30 days. And if we go forward thinking that we do, 31 days, I should say, you're going to find yourself in trouble, right? Because you're going to put too big of a plan in front of you, and you're not going to have the days for it. So let's dive on in. I'm going to fix that because that's annoying me. There, okay. 31 days. Okay, guys, 2 minutes, and let's just quickly go through the calendar and slash off any days that you will not be working. And you know what? If they end up not following through, things don't happen, that's bonus time for you. So let's dive on in. Okay, what did you guys come up with? Double Down Day is the 4th. You are right. Let's see. Elizabeth, I will give myself time off from doing things during the beginning of the month since I currently have what I think is a sinus infection. Smart. Yes, give yourself time to heal. Rita, the HB writing retreat is the weekend of 17, 18, 19. Ooh, good question. That would be where it lands. Should land. I will try to find out for us. Let's see, Laura, I gave myself 4 days, but now I feel as though I just jinxed myself and now I'll get sick. Like I said, without fail, back to school. I get my immune system's gonna find it. So Double Down Day is the 4th. Yeah, I think so, Rita, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me see if I can find that for us. Let's see. I just want to look at the information. Let's see if I can find this on here, if she has that listed for us. I want the pull down here. Running sprints. Let's see. It's the weekly. Go calendar. Events. So generally it has to be a full weekend, which we have. Yes, it's got to be the 17th, 18th, 19th. I don't see it written. Yeah, we just have 2024 up here. We don't have 2025. So if we're going off of last time round, that would definitely appear to be 17, 18, and 19. So we'll go with that. We'll call it that. That is what it should be. Okay, guys, let's dive on in to, as we're leaving the ordinary world, page 1 should give you a good overview of how busy the month ahead will be, and how the decisions you made will affect the time you have for your goals and objectives. So you want to basically make sure that you haven't agreed to too much and that you are being honest with yourself and not double booking yourself, not overly committing yourself, and you're making room in your life for the things that matter to you and for your self-care. Do not do so much that you burn yourself out. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's marked yet. And plus, hold on. Is she away that weekend? But then she'd just have us do it anyway, so I don't know if she'd be part. Not 100% sure. And maybe one of those things we have to watch for. I can give a shout out to Renee as well and see if she can give us some updates. Let's see. Elizabeth, I start to not feel the best towards the end of finals week now that I think about it. Yeah. Lori, I looked at her Google calendar for January and didn't see it in March. Elizabeth, I had been feeling not the best all winter break. Yes, and often it's because you push yourself so hard to get the things done that when you actually get there and you complete, and then you allow yourself. Like I said, it's a mom thing too. I mean, you get the kids well, you get the husband well, and then you get sick because everybody else is now okay, right? Thank you for subscribing, Jen. Okay, guys, let's dive on in. So let's take everything on page 1 is going to inform the amount of time that you have to do the things in your special world. So let's dive on in. So the ingredients for the special world are the goals, the destination, the starting point, the journey. This is going to define all of our goals and objectives. This is not the day-to-day stuff. This is that bigger picture stuff that we are trying to do. These are our big goals, our big dreams. These are the things that we're working toward making happen. Okay? So preparation is being honest. Again, we're checking in with our values, making sure that we're actually working on things that matter to us or that move us forward. Sometimes we're not going to like it, but it's a necessary step in the chain of events that we need to do, right? Does this move you forward? We're going to use that over and over again to make sure that we are creating the right links. You need to prioritize, and we're going to reflect and adjust because things do not always go to plan, and it's just a simple truth. Okay, guys, this is going to take us about 10 minutes. As we move through this, guys, we're going to heavily focus just on one goal. You have the room for up to 6. But in the time that we have together, we're just going to focus on one, and then you can go back in and do the other ones after you've learned the system and you feel comfortable again, right? Okay, guys. So the template is we're going to use page 2 and 3, and they are marked 1 through 6 for the goals, with the destination, the starting point, and the journey. Let's see. So your goals are, we're going to define your objectives. There's up to 6 goal areas. You do not need to have all 6, guys. Don't worry about that. You do the number that you need. Okay. The must otherwise statement is very important here because we want to make sure that we see what our consequences are if should we not actually finish and complete on time. We're going to be realistic. And this provides motivation, which is our overall goal for making sure that these work for us. So the I must statement. We're going to do this for the first one of our goals right now, and then you guys can go back and rinse and repeat, right? So this is just for the goal areas for this month. They might be different next month, right? So the statement is, I must blank what your goal is, your objective. Otherwise, and what's at stake? The example is, I must make healthy choices, otherwise I won't have the energy and focus to accomplish my other goals. So breaking it down, I must, this is your goal. This is, what is it you want to achieve this month? You're going to be specific. This is going to be measurable. This is going to be something that you know whether or not you did it by either saying a yes or a no. There shouldn't be any maybes here. This goal is tied to the bigger picture and may include multiple steps, but we want to make sure that we're getting that big picture piece down. Example, I must finish the first draft of book 1. Very specific. We know it's the first draft. It's not a second or third draft. We know it's book 1. We're not working on book 2 or 3. We might have a file open on our computer that we're throwing down notes as they come to us for the second and third book, but that's not what we're working on. So that's just kind of getting it out of our head and getting it down, right? But the goal is to finish the first draft of book 1. The next part is the otherwise. What's at stake? If you fail to achieve this goal, what will you lose? Example, I must finish the first draft of book 1, otherwise I will never know what it feels like to finish writing a book. Maybe you've never written the end before. That is an amazing day when you type the end on a manuscript and you know that you've come to the end of that story. It may not be perfect. That was not the goal. The goal is to get the story down and to see where it went and what happened to the characters and how they changed over time. So, all right, let's dive in, guys. And let's get I will go back up to the complete one here just to make it easier for you to have the full statement instead of the 2 pieces. So like I said, we're just going to focus on one today for right now while we're together. And that way we can make sure that this is easy for you to follow and to learn the system. Let's see, Elizabeth, I must allow myself to rest during this break, or I could feel worse when the spring semester starts. Yes, and that doesn't help you, right? Because you need to be able to be present for class, right? Okay, guys, let's get that 2-minute timer on and let's work with goal number 1 and go. Okay, what did you guys come up with? I went for the writing goal here, and I must complete the first draft of Project TTTB. Otherwise, I won't be able to publish it by the end of 2025. Keeping in mind that I need to also have time throughout the year for revision, editing, which I kind of think in two different things. I think of revision as reimagining the story after the messy first draft, and editing as more that cleaning up and polishing to get it out the door. Publish, market, there's, of course, book design, all that, getting it to the editor. I kind of ran out of space. I will have to go and add that in there too. What did you guys come up with? Let's see, Elizabeth, I have been already, but I need more rest. Yes, yes. Lori, I must go through the rough draft of book 1 in this new series. I started writing it last summer and revised the outline. Otherwise, I won't have it done to publish by the end of May. I was tempted to put down by the end of September, which I kind of want to put down, and I should. I'm not entirely sure, talking about that unknown. I'm not sure how long it would take to do the all the steps, right? So I think I'm going to put September because that is where my brain was. If I end up in October, that is okay. That is okay. And that would be the best birthday Christmas present to myself for December, that I would have this in the world, right? Okay, guys. Let's see. Elizabeth, if I don't clean during winter break, I'll have to do it once the semester has already started, and that's not ideal. No, it is not. Okay, guys. Let's dive on in. We're going to start at the destination because we want to know where do you want to land, right? Where do you want to end up? Let's see. Rita, I must research for proof copy of KDP. Otherwise, I'll get frustrated and give up. Otherwise, I'll not get my proof copy of Lear. Exactly. And just do it through the steps. There's so many YouTube videos on that you will be okay. Plus, I think in Publish and Thrive, there's things as well. So, again, we have this with the 30 days. Okay, so this is day 31. This is January 31st. Where do you land? Where are you going to end up at the end of this month? What achievements and experiences will you have had? We're going to do our deadline success equation and figure out, give a definition to this, and also, again, build in that motivation and the consequences. We're looking for progress. And the goal is a defined outcome. We want to know where we want to end up, so we know what steps we have to take to get there. All right? So, your deadline success equation is I will, what is your objective, or objectives, by which date, in order to meet a future deadline. So, for example, I will complete the first draft of Project North by November 30th, in order to meet my first pass edits deadline of December 30th. So we're giving ourselves, we want to be a month ahead of that so that we can have that month to finish the first pass edits. If we end up going until December 15th and we still want to keep that deadline at December 30th, say we might have an editor waiting for it that we have to hand it in January 15th. Well, we've just now squished all of our time down, and we don't have as much time to make this thing in a more polished state to get it to the editor, right? I will complete the third pass of revisions at Project Love by November 30th in order to meet my deadline of sending my revised draft to my editor by December 15th. So we know that we have to have it done by November 30th so that we can have that time to look at it one more time before we're sending it off to the editor, right? So let's take this down. So breaking it down, I will and the objectives. Define the objective, use stages, word count or scene count or story goals. This for this example. Example, I will complete the first draft of Project North, aiming for 90K. Secondary example, I will draft a working outline for Project North and complete the first draft of Act 1 of Project North. So we know we're going to take it a little bit slower on that one, but we're also going to go in with that outline, right? The next part is by which date. This one's self-explanatory. When will you complete this? Make this an achievable goal that feels slightly uncomfortable. We want to push ourselves a little, just a little, guys. Don't do burnout around here. So example, November 30th means you intend to fast draft 90K. Is this too much? If you do something like Kate Kavanaugh's, weekly challenge, where she did 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, 5K, 6K, 7K over the week, that's 28K in a week. Can you maintain that for the entire entire month? Not necessarily, right? So you might want to push that back a little bit. Maybe do the first half of the book or something and just see where it is. See what you can achieve somewhat comfortably, right? Put that little uncomfortable layer in there. So in order to meet that future deadline, this is where we connect our goal to the next step so we don't stay stuck in one place. We can brainstorm and plot forever and never feel like it is ready to write. Analysis paralysis. I was living there, guys. Not a fun place because I didn't trust myself to move forward. I didn't make a connection on that story and I got stuck there. Not a nice place. So the example is in order to meet my editor's deadline of January 15th of 2025. So we do not want to lose that spot. So we need to make sure that we are ready to hand it off to that editor. Otherwise, it might be another 6 months before she'll be available for us again, right? Okay, so we're going to go back up to the full one here and get 2 minutes on the clock. And let's work through our goal number 1 and see what that looks like. Okay. I'm not sure where I wrote that down. I wrote a little sweet note to myself and not terribly sure. I'll have to hunt it down. Not sure where I put it. This is what happens when you take notes in multiple locations. Which I try not to do anymore. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Let's see. Elizabeth, I will have recovered from the sinus infection by January 31st, have a good routine for the semester, and have started the summer internship job search. Love that. I will utilize college career services to help me with the summer internship job search. That's beautiful. Love that. Nice support. Elizabeth, if things don't improve over the next few days, I may schedule an appointment with my ENT. That makes sense too. Yeah, if it's been lingering, then maybe it's already, right? So give it another day or two, and if it's still bugging you, you make that appointment. Perfect. Lori, I will complete the read-through and revised outline by January 31st in order to start draft 2 in February. Sweet. Rita, I will have figured out the procedure to get my proof copy for there and ready by January 30th. Sweet. I went with, I will write 90K words and take the story from beginning to end by February 14th. Since I'm doing 90K, I decided instead of doing the 30, I'll go 45. See what happens. In order to meet my September publication date. I think this is doable. I think I can do this. I didn't want to go whole 2 months because that probably would be, there would be a part of me that would be like, you can do this. So, on the outside that I have to do it to the end and go to February 28th, I can do that, but I'm going to try not to. Let's see, Rita, and then wait the required weeks for the delivery. Yes, beautiful. All right, guys, let's dive on into the starting point. Where am I right now? Have you written a single word of this? Does any of this exist? Is this a book that you are starting to outline now? Maybe you still need to write the blurb for it. Maybe figure out who the characters are. So this is day 1. We're going to take a little reflection of where we're starting and take that list. We're going to take stock and see what it is that what check boxes we've already accomplished. So we know where we're beginning and we don't have to repeat if we don't need to. And we're going to our goal is honest evaluation. And we're not going to pretend that we can do more than we can do. And we're going to aim for something that is reasonable. Let's see, Laura, you can do it, Tracy. Call it a Valentine's gift to yourself. Yes. It will be our 30th wedding anniversary as well. So I think that's kind of fitting. Get that out of the way and then we can go do something, right? Okay, guys. So day 1. We're going to just use bullet points to list what you've accomplished to date on the projects that are moving you forward in this goal area. This is an opportunity to celebrate our achievements and to reflect on what needs more attention. Maybe we started something but abandoned it. Got to figure out the why on that. Maybe it just was a matter of time or the holidays or something got in the way, right? And we're just going to do a little reset and tell ourselves, okay, we're back at it and we're going to get this done. Cut. If the project is not moving you forward toward the vision you have for this goal area, remove it. Just make it go away. Choose the goals that are actually going to serve you, right? Let's see. And where are you? This is an example here using some bullet points regarding a trilogy. The examples are book 1 is set to publish December 4th of 2024. Book 2 is with the editor. Book 3 is in the brainstorming stage, partial outline. It's not quite there yet, but it's forming. The story Bible is up to date. So, book 3 is going to have to get in there, but we have enough information that we know we can turn that story Bible as we're creating it and making sure that we're staying consistent throughout the story world. And the character profiles are needed for 3 new characters who popped up in your brainstorming yesterday and you want to learn more about them. All right, guys, so let's just take our 2-minute timer and see where we are on this project and just bullet form, just nice and quick points of where you are, and go. Okay. What did you guys come up with? So I have the blurb. I have a very, very skeletal outline that definitely needs fleshing out. She's very bare bones, but I have a writing course that I'm enjoying and following the steps just sort of for the support of it. I know the steps, but I wanted something that kind of just made me feel like I wasn't alone during my writing time. So that worked perfectly. I also do lives when I can for that. I have my protagonist, antagonist, and love interest. I have the conflict. She needs a best friend. She has a very, very limited world. So I'm thinking maybe the brother character, one of them is very much her friend, someone she can turn to, and the other one will not be. He's kind of a little henchman, we will call him. He's not the main antagonist, but he could be antagonistic force in her life, who truly believes a lot of the things that would be holding her back, and he could be reinforcing that. I need to figure out some of the... I have an idea where I want the beginning to be. I have a really good idea how I want it to end. I even have another significant middle scene or middle end scene in there that I think will work really well for really creating some good tension on the page. I just have to kind of get her there. How does she end up in this situation? Something has to happen because she is not the first choice, and I know this. Let's see, Elizabeth, I will get some writing done before January 21st, but I will prioritize rest. Yes. All right, I got kicked off for a minute. Oh, no. Oh, play nice. Seems okay now, I hope. Rita, I have the Publish and Thrive course available, so I need to watch the videos, etc. for the KDB step. There you go. And you have your resource. I love that. Publish and Thrive is sort of up in the air. I know that's most likely going to start in January towards the end. So anyone who's part of that, we are looking at potentially having that as part of our January plan as well. Okay, guys, we're going to dive on into the journey. This is our action steps. This is our step by step by step. This is progress on projects. This is portioning. We may not be able to do everything that we want to do. So we are going to have to realize which slices of the pie we're going to take on, and the rest of the pie is going to have to go back in the freezer. Okay, guys? And we don't want to leave it too long there either, because if we leave that too long in the freezer, it's not going to taste so good, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting those portions taken care of in a timely fashion and keeping that priority going and keeping things number one where they need to be. And the goal is strategies executed. We want to be able to use the term that we are done and we have gotten these finished. Let's see. Lori, notes are complex. Rough draft is 90% complete. Set to publish for end of May, early June. Character profiles are complete. Sweet. Love that. I'm going to have to create a profile for this other character. I know I want him in there. I just don't know quite how he looks on the page yet. He's more agreeable than the other one. That's about all I've got. Okay, so this is our step by step by step. How will you make this happen? What steps need to be taken? This is an example here is we're going to complete the outline. You're going to write the rough draft of book 3, and you're going to schedule that editor for February 15th, 2025. And you know what? She might already be getting booked up, so we don't want to sit on that one. We might want to move that in ahead of the outline, or sandwich it in between once we have an outline that we feel is comfortable with, and then see if we can get that date. We want to make sure that we're not missing out on getting our editor, because we're going to have a publication date here of let's say March 31st. That doesn't give us a lot of time, so we got to make sure we're checking these boxes off. Right? Okay, guys, let's take 2 minutes and figure out what action steps we're going to take to get to work through our first goal and make sure it actually works for us, and go. Okay, what did you guys come up with? So I need to, I like the blurb, but I'm going to go one more pass to it, through it, because I have to type it into the file anyway, because I wrote it out by hand. So I'm going to use that as an opportunity to rewrite it and make it sing. I got to expand the outline, referring to my notes, because I have lots of scenes that can go in there. I just have not put them into any kind of organized state. So I got to get organized. I'm going to continue to the writing course just as a daily inspiration. Everything's kind of short on it and sweet. Do the exercises, just have fun with it and enjoy the process. I need to get the character work done. I need to figure out how this character can kind of get in the way, because I think that's the only thing, that's his purpose. He's got to get in the way here somehow. And then some setting work. I'm thinking 2 to 3 main locations, so I have to get that going as well. I have names for them. I have an idea what they look like. I have an idea of some things that will happen there. But that said, I also need to, again, get that organized and all sorted out and decluttered and put into a nice little way that will work. And then I need to figure out and just make myself just a fun little scene list of the things that I want to explore and find out about this character. Maybe any story questions I might have about them. So I have that story questions. I want to get to know her. She's going to be dark. She's going to be funny. She's going to get herself in gobs of trouble. But I'm going to enjoy this journey. And I hope you guys will when you get to read it. Okay, guys. So the final stage here is the week-by-week plan. This defines projects, tasks, and deadlines. This is your itinerary. This is what your trip is going to look like. Your trip. So you're going to prepare by being honest. You're going to check in with your values again. Just because you wrote it down doesn't mean that it's right. We need to look at it and make sure that it's actually what we need. Is this achievable? Be honest with yourself. If you only have 10 days out of this month to do work, you're likely not going to be writing out a complete first draft. Now, are you? You're going to maybe get a third, a quarter. How much are you going to get through that, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. Going to make a priority, because this is your number one goal. This is the one we want to prioritize. This is the one that we want to hit first in the morning. This is the one that we want to make sure is done before we go to bed. This is the one that we want to be checking those boxes before we do anything else. And we want to reflect and adjust and make sure that these things are adding up at the end of the day. Let's see here. So your itinerary, the breakdown is weekly objectives, measurable achievements. Again, we want to be able to check those boxes. This is time management. This is the reality that things are going to take some time. And the goal is sustainable success. We want to make sure that we're working at a rate that works for us and works for our lives. That we are not missing out on the things that matter to us because we're too busy doing this, right? So we want to make sure there's a nice give and take. We want this to be slightly uncomfortable in terms of being how much we're pushing, but we don't want to be so uncomfortable that we're burning ourselves out. We're missing all the family time. We're missing all the special occasions and events. That's not the goal here. We want to be able to find a little bit of balance. I don't think there'll ever be complete balance. That does not seem true in any way, shape, or form, but a little bit, right? Let's see. Lori, read through the draft, update outline, look for an editor, book a cover artist. I think I'm missing stuff. You're not doing terribly. Maybe some personal edits you might want to get in there for yourself, and maybe your after document, you may want to be creating that as well. So the changes you want to make as you're doing that read through. Let's see, Rita. Side note, I never even thought that the first quarter actually starts tomorrow. I do have a Monday start. Oh boy. I know, me too. I hear you on that one. I'm like, it's tomorrow? No, I'm not ready. But then I jumped into Trello and now I feel a little more confident. I don't know why I didn't think to put it into my iPad. It's Trello. Of course it works on my iPad. Get it in there, right? I have an actual Kanban board. More things will be added to it, but that's okay, because if I had been doing sticky notes, I would have been in the same position. At least now, when I think of something, I can throw it into my phone or into my iPad, and I'm good to go. So that feels actually pretty good. Jackie took a moment to brainstorm and have a concept for a new book idea. Love that. Rita, for the weekly template, I have been using 156 hours in the week and not the actual 165 hours for the last 6 weeks. Oops, I had lots of self-care time. Hey, that's okay. Nothing wrong with self-care time, hon. And you know what? And you look at it how you need to look at it, right? You break it down to what works for you and the amount of time that you have. I have actually been literally putting a little more time on there, just undefined, because I'm finding sometimes things are taking longer than I plan. So I'm kind of giving myself even a buffer in the ordinary world stuff. That way I'm not going to feel like I'm running out of time when I'm getting into the special world stuff. And it just gives me that little extra cushion. If I don't end up using it, awesome, great. If dinners take 10 times longer than they're supposed to, I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about it, right? Maybe if we drive somewhere and we do a few extra little outings involved with that, I'm good. I have that little bit of a cushion created, right? Okay, guys, so let's dive into our itinerary here, which is page 4. That way it's nicely on the back of it. You can keep this one turned facing you for the month, and you can put it up on your bulletin board or whatever works for you. Have it out on your desk, and that way you're literally seeing week by week what you're trying to achieve. All right, guys. Let's see here. So, considering time. From page 1 of the template, can you see any days off or busy days that might affect how much you can achieve on a given week? We want to make sure, again, that we're being honest with ourselves and that we're looking at it in terms of how much time we can give each week. If you have, say you have a conference you're going to on week 3, well, that's going to be your entire weekend, most likely chewed up for that. And then there's going to be probably prep on Thursday as you get ready for that. And maybe Wednesday might get a little messed up. So you're really working with like Monday and Tuesday, a little bit of Wednesday. And the rest of the time is going to be that conference. So think about that, how that works out. So you're not giving yourself the regular workload that you have planned, even though you only have half a week, right? So be honest with yourself and adjust as needed. Hey, Jordan, breaking it down. You have 6 weeks. We don't have 6 weeks. We have 5 weeks. We're going to ignore that. I'm going to maybe just make these from now on 5 or 6 weeks, because we do have weeks that kind of go back and forth on me, right? So we have 5 weeks to make this happen. You have 5 weeks to work a sustainable plan that won't burn you out, and 5 weeks to prove to yourself you can make real progress on your objectives. So let's talk strategy. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We're going to use sprints to help us, but we are not in a sprint. We're going to use those for our nice deep focus time that we're going to schedule into our plan if we can, so that we know we're showing up for Angela's and maybe mine and maybe one other person's throughout the week, so we can see those as guaranteed work times throughout our week. We're going to start strong and end strong. You're going to be consistent. You're going to plan to show up. You're going to start with the end in mind. Where are you trying to go, to make sure that that vision is there for you? You're going to work backward as you're creating your plan. So you're going to start with week 5 and work back. So what will you've accomplished versus what the steps are that you took to get there. You're going to create measurable goals for each week, and you're going to break down the goals into weekly achievable steps, keeping in mind that availability time that you have defined. So let's take this example here. This is fast drafting a novel. So our goal is to have this thing created by the end of week 5. So that means we're going to be writing the third draft of Act 3. The third act of the first draft to make sure that gets done. So you're going to have 10 scenes you're going to write that week, and making sure that you're going to also type the end. So that is also, and we're going to type the end. If I could type. There, type the end. That's what we want to be able to do here, right? So that means we're going to start by week 1. We're going to plot and build our outline. We're going to use the support of Save the Cat, which has 15 parts, 3 scenes each. Set up conflict resolution to help us define what each part's going to be. Week 2, we're going to dive into Act 1, and we're going to get those 10 scenes down. Week 3, we're going to get the first part of Act 2 down with 13 scenes. And then week 4, we're going to get the other half of Act 2 down with 12 scenes. And this way we're breaking it down. One of the notes I wanted to make sure that I had in my head is I want to create my afterthoughts document as I go along. So if I write something but I realize I need that to be slightly different, I can simply write that into the afterthoughts document, and I will know that later on in the revision that I didn't want her to go to Paris. I wanted her to go to England or something like that, and I can change the facts later, and I can just continue writing forward as if I had sent her to England in the first place, right? These are changes you know you want to make, so you kind of just act like you've already done them, and you write that note to yourself. Maybe some page numbers, a few details. Maybe you can cut a piece of the scene that you know where you need to change it and plunk that in there as well. And that way you're always moving forward. I have a decision to make about voice acting. Oh, interesting. Well, I hope this will help you. Okay, guys. So let's get our 2-minute timer going up. And remember, we're just going to do this for the first. We're going to switch over to page 4. And we're going to start filling out with week 5, how we're going to end up getting there for our first goal. And go. Okay, what did you guys come up with? So I need to get that outline together, get the character work, setting work done. That's going to be for next week. Act 1, I will deal with, I'm not entirely sure on the scene count, so for now I'm just going to use the same from the example, and that way I can work through that. I figure by the 5th week, I should be able to get through the second half of Act 2, knowing that February 14th will be the deadline. And then, well, actually, I think I'm going to tweak that slightly on that one because, that might be a bit much that week in order to actually So I might split that one in half and do it over the 2 weeks, because that will probably be a really heavy section. The second half of Act 2, and Act 3 should be the leaner one. So I could use the second week in February to do Act 3, and I can split the other over those 2 weeks and bridge it. And that way I won't burn myself out and I can look for success. What did you guys come up with? Let's see. I feel like that should probably be that. I might make that one there an organization week. Organized material. That way I won't feel all over the place for the second week. Let's see, how did you guys do? Any questions, any thoughts about the process? And again, you guys can go back through, you can change things, you can update things, you can shift things, you can make them smaller, bigger, whatever you think you can do, because we're going to be considering as well that time of, I'm a bit political, so if I'm being wise, week 4 would probably be a little bit less, if I'm being honest with myself. I will be distracted by it. I know I will be. Let's see. Commitment. So your new commitment statement. Let's see. On page 1, as always, we have our commitment statement. I will make myself a priority and follow through and protect the time I need to make progress on the projects that matter to me. We're going to make this a great day. We're going to make it a great month. Let's see. Lori, week 1, read through the rough draft and take notes. Update the outline. Week 2, start new draft. Act 1, 12 scenes. Week 3, draft Act 2A, 12 scenes. Week 4, draft Act 2B, 12 scenes. Yeah, I think I need that. Yeah, the read through, I need to bridge those two together, because I need the outline, but I also need to get comfortable with that outline, I think. So I'm kind of calling it organize the material, but I think it's going to be part of it. Like, it's going to be that just making myself all cozy and comfy with the entire process. L'Oreal, I might not get my total draft done by the end of the month. Yes, and that is okay. Nothing wrong with that, right? Because it's where you're starting from. If you're still in the sort of brainstorming, outlining, thinking through the rough draft, it's going to take a little bit more, right? You're going to have to get yourself you need to give yourself the time for that. Sorry to use the Jedi mind trick on you there. Believe in yourself, guys. Believe in yourself. So this is complete your plan. This defines your projects, tasks, and deadlines. And the ingredient for this one is repeat as needed. So if you have 2 goals, you have 1 more to complete. If you have all 6 goals, you've got 5 more to complete. Preparation is complete the plan for all goal areas. 2, you want to prioritize most important to least. So number 1 is your number 1. Number 2 is a little bit less, and 3 and so on, right? I actually need to, I think, make a slight change on mine, because I have one that I put lower, but it's actually more important. So I think I'm going to shift the 2 around so that the time works. Let's see. You're going to either work through 1 goal at a time or at 1 step at a time, whichever way you find is easier. So you can go through and you can do all your I must statements all the way through, or you can just choose the goal and work through the thinking process of the destination, starting point, and journey, and then go again. And you're going to complete your plan. Let's see, Rita to Lori, but you may write 40 to 50K words in the rough draft. That is very true. And that would be awesome and very much worth celebrating. And think in terms of your rewards as well, dear. Let's see here. Okay, guys. So You're going to take the time. You're going to repeat the steps for each goal until you have a complete plan, because you owe it to yourself to go into January knowing what it is you want to accomplish so you can get there and you can have the successes that you deserve. You're going to execute the plan. Moving forward, you're going to use this plan to define each week and adjust as needed. So remember, things may come up throughout the month. So you may have put down enough work for the, we'll say 20 hours that you thought you would have for that goal. But maybe now something else has come up and it's reduced to 15. Move things around until it works. Don't take the full 5 hours and maybe chuck it in next week. That may be too much, but you may have to take an hour or two and just finesse the rest of the plan. And that is okay. That's called life. It happens, right? We just want to make sure that everything gets done in a way that is sustainable and we don't burn out. And finally, enjoy the journey. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the process. I hope you enjoyed the new things I've added with the talking and thinking through of what you've been avoiding, because sometimes it's not just a week by week thing. Sometimes there are bigger things that are holding us back, and we want to be able to assess that and look at the why and fix it. Right? Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. We've been together for a little over an hour and a half, so I hope that you'll take a physical break, maybe grab a snack, a glass of water, or your favorite beverage, and then sit back down and finish out your plan. I'm going to check in with the daughter, maybe grab some dinner, and then I'm going to get back to planning as well. So let's see. Lori, true. Right, Rita, yes, you will have 40 to 50K words written, and there's nothing wrong with that. You are so welcome, Lori. This really helped. Oh, I love hearing that. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I hope that you found both parts productive and got lots done. And I'm looking forward to hearing next week how your planning went. And and double down day, and make plans for that too, guys. That is a perfect opportunity to really get a jump start on your project as well. So all those live streams for support, right? Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will see you next weekend. Have an amazing week. Thank you guys. Bye.